Hello students, today we will read chapter number 3rd, Poverty as a Challenge, part 3rd. Let's start. Causes of poverty. There were a number of causes for the widespread poverty in India. One historical reason is the low level of economic development under the British colonial administrations. The policies of the colonial government ruined traditional handicrafts and discouraged development of industries like textiles. The low rate of growth persisted until the 1980s. This resulted in less jobs opportunities and low growth rate of incomes. This was accompanied by a high growth rate of populations. The two combined to make the growth rate of per capita income very low. The failure at both the fronts, promotion of economic growth and population control, perpetuated the cycle of poverty. With the spread of irrigation and the green revolution, many job opportunities were created in the agriculture sector. But the effects were limited to some parts of India. The industries, both in the public and the private sector, did provide some jobs, but these were not enough to absorb all the job seekers. Unable to find proper jobs in cities, many people started working as rickshaw puller, vendors, construction workers, domestic servants, etc. With irregular small incomes, these people could not afford expensive housing. They started living in slums on the outskirts of the cities and the problems of poverty. Largely a rural phenomenon also become the feature of the urban sector. Another feature of high poverty rates has been the huge income inequalities. One of the major reasons for this is the unequal distribution of land and other resources. Despite many policies, we have not been able to tackle the issue in a meaningful manner. Major policy initiatives like land reforms, which aimed at redistribution of assist in rural areas, have not been implemented properly and effectively by most of the state governments. Since lack of land resources has been one of the major cause of poverty in India, proper implementation of policy could have improved the life of millions of rural poor. Many other socio-culture and economic factors also are responsible for poverty. In order to fulfill social obligations and observe religious ceremonies, people in India, including the poor, very poor, spend a lot of money. Small farmers need money to buy agricultural inputs like seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. Since poor people hardly have any savings, they borrow, unable to repay because of poverty. They become victims of indebtedness. So, the high level of indebtedness is both the cause of the effect of poverty. Anti poverty measures. Removal of poverty has been one of the major objectives of Indian development strategy. The current anti poverty strategy of the government is based broadly on two planks: promotion of economic growth, targeted anti poverty programs. Over a period of 30 years lasting up to the early 80s, there was little per capita income growth and not much reduction in poverty. Official poverty estimates, which were about 45% in the early 1990s, remained the same even in the early 80s. Since the 80s, India economic growth has been one of the fastest in the world. The growth rate jumped from the average of about 3.5% a year in the 1970s to about 6% during the 1980s and 1990s. The higher growth rates have helped significantly in the reduction of poverty. Therefore, it is becoming clear that there is a strong link between economic growth and poverty reduction. Economic growth widens opportunities and provides the resources needed to invest in human development. This also encourages people to send their children, including the girl child, to schools in the hope of getting better economic returns from investing in educations. However, the poor may not be able to take direct advantage from the opportunities created by economic growth. Moreover, growth in the agriculture sector is much below expectations. This has a direct bearing on poverty, as a large number of poor people live in villages and are dependent on agriculture. In these circumstances, there is a clear need for targeted anti poverty programs, although there are so many schemes which are formulated to affect poverty directly or indirectly. Some of them are worth mentioning. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005 aims to provide 100 days of wage employment to every household to ensure livelihood security in rural areas. It also aimed at sustainable development to address the cause of drought, deforestation, and soil erosion. One third of the proposed jobs have been reserved for women. The scheme provided employment to 220 crore persons, day of employment to 4.78 crore households. The share of SC/ST women person days in the scheme are 23%, 17%, and 53% respectively. The average wage has increased from 65 in 2006 and 7 to 132 in 2013 to 14. Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana is another scheme which was started in 1993. The aim of the program is to create self employment opportunities for educated unemployed youth in rural areas and small towns. They are helped in setting up small businesses and industries. Rural Employment Generation Program was launched in 1995. The aim of the program is to create self employment opportunities in rural areas and small towns. A target for creating 25 lakh jobs in has been set for the program under the 10th 5-year plan. Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana was launched in 1999. The program aims at bringing the assisted poor families above the poverty line by organizing them into self help groups through a mix of bank credit and government subsidy. Under the Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, launched in 2000, additional central assistance is given to states for basic services such as primary health, primary education, rural shelter, rural drinking water, and rural electrification. Another important scheme is Antodaya Anna Yojana, about which you will be reading more in the next chapter. The result of these programs have been mixed. One of the major reasons for less effectiveness is the lack of poor implementations and right targeting. Moreover, there has been a lot of overlapping of schemes. Despite good intentions, the benefits of these schemes are not fully reached to the deserving poor. Therefore, the major emphasis in recent years is in on proper monitoring of the all poverty alleviations program. The challenges ahead. Poverty has certainly declined in India, but despite the progress, poverty reduction remains India's most compelling challenge. Wide disparities in poverty are visible between rural and urban areas and among different states. Certain social and economic groups are more vulnerable to poverty. Poverty reduction is expected to make better progress in the next 10 to 15 years. This would be possible mainly due to higher income growth, increasing stress on universal free elementary education, declining population growth, increasing empowerment of the women and the economically weaker section of society. The official definition of poverty, however, captures only a limited parts of what poverty really means to people. It is about a minimum subsistence level of living rather than a reasonable level of living. Many scholars advocated that we must broaden the concept into human poverty. A large number of people may have been able to feed themselves, but to do they have education or shelter or healthcare or job security or self confidence? Are they free from caste and gender discriminations? Is the practice of child labor still common? Worldwide experience shows that with development, the definition of what constitutes poverty also changes. Eradication of poverty is always a moving target. Hopefully, we will be able to provide the minimum necessary in terms of only income to all people by the end of the next decade. But the target will move on for many of the bigger challenges that still remain. Providing healthcare, education, and job security for all, and achieving gender equality and dignity for the poor. These will be even bigger tasks. Thank you.